What's going on, traders? This is the weekly outlook video for Cinco de Mayo. Today is Cinco de Mayo, 5th of May, and this week is all about digesting what went down for non-farm payroll. NFP was a big miss, I would say for sure. And you know, last week we had the Fed, FOMC, the rate stayed the same. There's no change. So now, you know, the question is, what's the Fed going to do next month based on some of these numbers? You know, are they going to lower rates? What's the deal? Are they going to start to pull that back? But regardless, for me, it really signals a weak dollar coming in. And I'll show you that here in a second. So this week is pretty quiet in terms of data. You know, we have the RBA on Tuesday night, and it's a pretty big week, I would say, for the UK, for the pound. And that's on Thursday. But other than that, not like a definitely nowhere in comparison to last week, that's for sure. So if we pull up some of these dollar pairs, now, you know, previously, so this is GU. If we look, and I will hide my moving average envelope, and you know, the reason I use those, if you're familiar with my trading, is as a tool, as a map, just to determine where the trend is, and if it is going to be reversing and, you know, maybe going the other way. And I think that's pretty standard for the 200 SMA. So pretty much across the board here, if we're looking at GU, there's this huge gap, right? So this was from previous inflation and the FOMC last month. And so we've been in a pretty big downtrend since then, a huge downtrend. Well, excuse me, yeah, 2 weeks ago. And I think that was CPI. And so that left this huge imbalance here and this huge gap. And, you know, this was on every pair. You know, you had it on Euro USD, you had it on New Zealand dollar, and you can see we've come back into this area across the board on all of those pairs. Now, does that mean we're going to be turning around? I'm not sure, right? So if we go back to pound dollar here and referring to the SMA, right, we are right on, this is a key level, right? And it's pretty, you know, it's like that across the board here. What that? Some drawings. I've been back testing earlier this weekend. Go. So now if we have a look at this 200 SMA, I mean, this is like breakout territory for NZD-USD. Pound dollar is right there. Euro dollar. And then on the flip side of that, if we look at dollar yen, I mean, this is looking pretty bearish. I mean, we broke down back below here, took out these lows, right? So the question is are we going to there we go. Are we going to hold right here or continue to break down? So dollar Swiss, pretty similar deal. Dollar CAD has held up a little bit better. But all of this, and just to wrap it up here with the dollar index, right? So we had this little pattern here, push up, break down, retested this exact same area. This is more or less the flip side, right? This looks a lot like I just inverted the scale here, meaning it turned it upside down. That looks a lot like Euro USD. Because, you know, well, it's the dollar index, right? So here we go. So we retested this key level. So the question is the dollar going to break down a little bit further or create some sort of new high? So this week, I think it's going to be all about, you know, is the dollar, what's going to happen with the dollar? Is it going to be more of a breakdown? And how's the Fed going to, that's what the markets are going to try to determine, how's it going to digest the data that recently happened, right? So, we were in a pretty big downtrend here on S&P, or at least a pullback. I don't want to say a downtrend, correction, but it started to recover nicely. So the question is, are we going to see an uptick on these indices as well? And if we do, then that might signal some dollar weakness as well. So it's going to be a big week, not so much data-wise, but in terms of some key levels and reversals and some movements in the market. It's going to be a big one. And we also have Trade Locker finally happening this week, so that's super, super, super exciting. So stay tuned. Let's have an amazing week. Let's make it happen, everybody. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in our Discord, and let's get it this week. Peace.